Finding any treasures? Oh.
What'd you say?
Are you finding any treasure?
We are. We just got down here. There's some fancy stuff in here. We just get started.
I didn't mean to shorten your life there, sweetie.
Sorry, just made sure she was alive. Woke me up a little bit.
I saw something splash and I thought, fish jump.
We always try to have some skippers before we leave.
I like to call myself a championship capper.
Skippers. Hey, Red. The blessing I'm receiving is not lost on me. The sacrifice of my little wife, who's sitting home in Arkansas while I'm jaunting off about the country, keeping things stable. I'll be coming back pretty soon, honey. But this is just absolutely fantastic. The campground host did mention the fact that a few days ago, right across through the woods there, a young grizzly strolled by, juvenile, up to a little exploration. And those guys are generally up to no good. So I have my deterrent close at hand. Hey, I'm strolling around camp and run into these guys. And they know how to do it. Looks to me like they're doing it right. In fact, Sean, yep, we just met. I just met Sean, and he's going to show us around the homestead.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going?
Good.
Yep. This is the bunkhouse. This here actually comes out, and it's got poles, and it's an awning. And inside, you got tons of room, king size bed. Just like all the comforts at home.
Awesome.
And come on in here, Colin.
Okay.
And underneath here, got all the storage. More
and
than
you pull that with your bike.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, 2016 Road Glide Ultra. Stage 1 kit, and that's it.
Huh, how about that?
Yeah.
Well, I got a Softail Standard, and I actually thought once about getting a little teardrop or some kind of a little bean to pull behind that, but I condensed my kit down a little smaller than that, smaller enough that I could tie it all on that bike, and it works pretty good for me.
Yeah, we did it for years. We just put the bag on the back. This is my third Harley, second Road Glide. And for years we just done the bag on the back, and we decided to go ahead and get a trailer. And I was just going to get a little trailer to put our stuff in, and we got a lot of friends that have these. And they said, if you're gonna haul a trailer, haul a bunkhouse.
There you go.
And so then the decision was made, and we bought this in 2015 from Bush Tech in Tennessee.
So you've had some miles on it already.
Yep. This trailer's been all over.
Huh.
And when it's not on the road, it's covered and in a trailer or a garage.
Okay.
Yep. Got to keep it because they don't make them anymore.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Huh.
I think we make them in 2017, so we got to keep in good shape. Yeah, it's got to last for a long time. But we love it. It's a good way to go. And
how does it feel going down the road? You're riding two up.
Two up and towing this thing.
And towing it.
Yeah. And
But that road glide will handle it.
it does. The first time since we've been hauling it, I had a little bit of a clutch issue coming up on Flaming Gorge. Up the hill out of Vernal.
Okay.
And I got the clutch hot, and that's the first time I've ever had any issue with anything. And so I didn't mess like that.
You can do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
Yeah.
But getting out here is just so good.
Oh, God. I mean, people, of course, you probably get the same thing, you know, it's like, oh, you ride a Harley? Yes, I do. And, I mean, people just don't get it. There's nothing like this.
No.
Nothing in the world like it. And I'm just going to keep doing it.
Well, I'll tell you what has been interesting about my little trip is it was rather, I mean, I knew I was coming, but I did not make a one plan. I just knew that I was going to come. My little mother lives in Missoula. I knew I was going to end up here.
Nice.
But when I started out in Arkansas, it was hot.
Oh, I can imagine.
So my objective is to get north as quickly as I could. So I went straight up through the center of Missouri and camped out at the Lake of the Ozarks there, and that wasn't awful.
Oh, okay.
And it kept getting cooler as I was going north, and I ended up well up into Iowa.
Oh, okay.
And then I thought I might go to Minnesota and on up through North Dakota, because I was looking off and I was seeing the temperatures in South Dakota. But I got to looking a little more, and there was a big thunderstorm front building and coming across North Dakota, and I'd have ran right into it.
Oh, it's a good thing
So,
you paid attention to that. That could have been bad.
That turned me.
Yeah.
And it turned me up the Missouri River, the wide Missouri. And of course I haven't really been on interstate to speak of since I left. And I was taking back roads. And ended up on the Outlaw Trail through Nebraska.
Oh, really?
Which follows the path of Lewis and Clark.
Oh, okay. And that's part of this road down here.
Yeah, and then I ran into Lewis and Clark again down here. So we've been running the same roads.
That's so cool.
A couple hundred years apart, but you know.
Yeah. A little bit of time in between.
Anyway, well, thank you for
Absolutely.
taking time to visit with me a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, always love to talk to people.
Yep, and we'll have this memorialized somewhere on YouTube before long.
Cool, I love it.
See really how large it is, you know.
Now that is the mother of all ant piles.
It is.
They're creative creatures, though, ain't they?
Oh, they are. They're workers.
We could learn something from them ants.
I think we can. We all work as hard as they did.
A very bad passing, they said. Westbound, the trip up Lolo Creek was the start of a remarkable, arduous, life-threatening part of the expedition's journey. Eastbound, the passage down Lolo Creek represented victory over one of the most formidable barriers to cross-country travel that they had encountered. Obviously, the Continental Divide. Traveling west in 1805, the expedition hurried up Lolo Creek, pausing only briefly at Lolo Hot Springs. Returning east, they stopped June 29th, 1806, and allowed themselves the luxury of a soak in the hot springs. Interesting. But there's another story to this. Fort Fizzle. We got to stop and see what this is about. It is memorialized over here. Fort Fizzle came quite a bit later, in 1877. In 1877, scouting parties from the 7th Infantry at Missoula verified rumors that hostile Nez Perce were approaching over the Lolo Trail. Ordered to block the passage of the Nez Perce, about 35 soldiers headed up Lolo Creek, where on July 25th, Captain Charles Ron selected the terrace in front of you for his defense position. His soldiers, joined by citizen volunteers, constructed breastworks of earth and logs and dug shallow rifle pits. Over 200 men joined forces to prevent the Nez Perce from passing. About 40 miles west of here, at Woodman Flats, parleys were held between the Nez Perce and Ron's forces. The Nez Perce were ordered to surrender arms, ammunition, and horses. They refused, promising to pass peacefully. Many of the citizen volunteers accepted the Nez Perce's promise. Sharing fears of destructive retaliation on families and properties, they abandoned the fort and trickled home. Soon, Captain Ron had insufficient forces to fulfill his orders. Orders from an army still embarrassed by the Little Bighorn disaster of 1876, and now stung by Nez Perce victories in Idaho. On the morning of July 28th, the Nez Perce bypassed the breastworks by climbing up the low ridge on our left and traveling just out of sight behind the ridge in front of you. They descended east of here and entered the Bitterroot Valley. The fort had fizzled, but it was a successful failure. The battle few participants wanted was avoided, and the Nez Perce proceeded south through the Bitterroot Valley, confident that they had a non-aggression pact. Interesting. Fort Fizzle. Just another of the interesting episodes that our predecessors endured in this amazing place. Oh, that men would sue for peace. Of course, we know the story didn't end there. I find these stories so interesting. dramas that played out in this now peaceful, serene valley. Time is a peculiar thing. So the army set up down here in the valley, thinking that's where the Indians would travel. And they set up breastworks. Some of them are kind of recreated for tourists today. There are makeshift log barricades. The Indians knew something about this land. And as an Archie, I can relate because they traveled the ridges. They went up into the mountains and they traversed across, just out of sight. The bottoms, down here where all the timber is, was choked with trees. And it is defensible. From a military standpoint, they had a fort right there. They had a barricade. And it certainly would have worked. But the Indians didn't travel the bottoms. The trail over Lolo goes up over the ridges. Once you get up there, traveling is easier. Not as much timber. Follow the ridges. Don't have to stomp through the marshes, the bogs. So, like the Arkansas Ridge Runners, the Indians worked with the land. Just an interesting observation. Good to be here in Missoula with my sweet family. But I'm at the top of the hill and it's time to roll on down. Arkansas, here I come.